and it has the name Philia House, as you see here, Philia House. Remember, David?
Yes, indeed, George.
How many years ago was it? In the 80s?
It was in the late 80s.
Late 80s.
Marilyn had actually taken the proposal to the Camden Town Area Committee for a feasibility study.
Yes, and then we applied to the Housing Corporation. But meantime, St. Pancras Housing Association approached us and said that it's a wonderful, beautiful idea, and we want to help you to build it, you know. And we said, okay, come in. And we had several meetings, and eventually we went to see the Housing Corporation. We formed an association, the Cypriot Village Housing Association, and we went as partners with St. Pancras Housing Association to the Housing Corporation, and after a lot of negotiations, they said, yes, it's a wonderful idea, we sponsor it, but we give St. Pancras Housing Association the money because they are established association. You're just a beginner, and in a way you become partners, and eventually, of course, they took over. We built this and the other side of the building, which have the same. What is the name of the street?
Farrier Street.
Farrier Street. That's right. And it's the whole block, and it originally meant for Cypriots, but when eventually St. Pancras took over, they were allocated to a lot of other people. We had no objection to that, but at least we have been at least 50%. Eventually, they gave us only 5 flats. That we have the right to nominate Cypriots in this area. Although more Cypriots have been rehoused here than the 5%. And it's as you say, it's a Philia house, and now we are 2008, and the history is forgotten. But
so St. Pancras has now been taken over, you were telling me.
It has taken over, yes, and because they have now joined the Humanist Association, I don't think many people in St. Pancras Housing Association are aware of this history. And that's why Pani, who lives on the 2nd floor, with a daughter who was now taken under the auspices of guardianship of her mother, of the grandmother, through the social services, because there were some problems. He was in a lot of problems with the tenants around her, and because Pani has some psychological problems, eventually everybody turned against her. She was hostile to many of them because she was treated as an outsider. And she said, this building was built for Cypriots. Are you aware of it? And to make a point of that, she has put this flag in her window. And that is very, very symbolic. That Pani, as a defiance to what had happened in history, she raised a point that this block was built for Cypriots, and that's the Cyprus flag. Can you see it there? This Cyprus flag on the window there. If you take longer picture of the estate to see what a big problem was, what a big project was, you know, and you know how the story started. Due to this Cypriot advisory service, and we had people, elderly people, like Mrs. Mikhailidou and her daughter.
Shall we go around the corner and film at the other entrance, George?
Okay.
If you have, or are you in a hurry to get back to Theatro Technis? Because we can do this another time.
No, we can do it now. I think it's a unique opportunity to do that.
Okay.
is a Cypriot lady.
One knows that as a Cypriot because it has Yasumi by the front door.
That's right, and that was another Stavro who died a few years ago, 277, and this is Kisula Foreman living here, and further down is Father Andreas and his wife, who is a priest at St. Andrew's Church, not far from here. And in this block of flats here is Father Andreas. And there are a few other Cypriots. As you see there, they have the Cypriot style, the kiosk, you know. That was Stavros Konstantinidis was involved in the organizing committee. He was the chair of the Cypriot Village Housing Association, and we all sat day after day, week after week, planning this. And the idea of a kiosk, it was Stavros because of the Kyrenian kiosk in the villages in the town of Kyrenia, and the idea started because we had these elderly people who were isolated, and they were eventually dying in hospitals like Free and Banner Hospital. Mrs. Michailidou and her daughter Evangelia, you know, and we said we got to develop, you know, a kind of housing estate where the Cypriots will be. Come, let's go inside. The Cypriots will have a kind of help and support by the villagers, you know. In a village, people support each other. They are not left alone. And in London, in this faceless city, what happened to migrants like the Cypriots? They were living in isolation and ended up in this terrible wars in hospitals and died there. Nobody knew anything about it. And that was the inspiration to come for this project, you know. And we are delighted that it's built and has been useful. But I think our regret is that St. Pancras has not really gave us the due that we deserve in our contribution, in our input, in our original inspiration. It's characteristic how projects of this kind is taken by institutions and really lose the original inspiration. It becomes just another housing estate with so many other problems, you know. The kids play football and people live in isolation. There is no that community spirit that we originally visualize. And the classic example is Pani, who is now isolated, no support at all, and she ended up in hospital. And they are taking action to evict her. You know, tenants who said, you know, you've been a pest to us, and but now I don't know what will happen with the eviction order. There was due to be a court hearing in June, but because she's in hospital, I think it has been adjourned. But it is a sad case, really. Instead of having the support that we originally visualized, people are hostile.
Can we walk a little bit further up,
Yeah.
George?
Yeah.
So this is over and above Theatro Technis, the building.
Yes.
This is quite a large development that George has been responsible for the creation of, irrespective of how it has developed, which is not, we'll go more into what it was intended to be another moment, but this is quite a major development.
It is, again, it was inspired because of being in touch and involved with the people's problems. Yes. Yeah, I mean, it is a project that I think the Cypriot community should be proud of, and it should have been more of this kind. And I hope now, you know, with the development of Theatro Technis, we can revive the spirit of of the housing association and maybe develop the Theatro Technis to incorporate some social housing, that we will be in control rather than allow other people to control it. That Theatro Technis will be controlled and make good use of. I'm sure here is a good use. I think people are settling down quite well, and but it has lost that original spirit. I mean, and I bring Pani as an example, and Philia there, and a few other Cypriots who feel isolated really, instead of really feeling part of the community, of the village community. That's why we call it the Cypriot Village Project.
Indeed.
Okay, I think we should go.
Thank you, George.
Thank you. No, Theatro Technis is not just for the Cypriots now, it's international. And this could have developed in the same way without losing its roots. The Cypriot awareness, the Cypriot roots that inspire this project, as it has inspired Theatro Technis as well. Because you cannot in London keep in isolation as a community. You're part of the international community, and that is would have happened naturally through us, and not taken over and cut us off. Instead of say, it's like, you know, the roots of the tree and the branches grow naturally, expand to the sky, to the universe, you know.
How appropriate that it should have been called Philia House.
Exactly. Philia. It means friendship, you know, and that is the house of friends, a friendship house, you know. But it's not that. And that story of the flag, of the Cyprus map, put by Pani as a protest against what they are doing to her, the hostility instead of friendship. You know, it's a classic example. Thank you, David.
Thank you, George.